How many boulders could you do in 1 hour? If you went to your climbing gym and counted every single problem and stacked them up next to each other, how many of those problems do you think you could do in 60 minutes? What would be your strategy? Would you climb all the slabs first? Would you climb the easy problems first? Would you climb the hard problems first, then come back to the easy problems so you're not worn out? Well, I wanted to put my climbing endurance to the test, so I decided to give this challenge a try for myself. And I know what some of you are thinking. If I want to test endurance, I should just do something like top rope or lead climbing. But I refuse to climb with a rope. Ropes are made for one thing, falling. And I don't intend to fall in this challenge. But this would not be easy. I would come face to face with climbing influencers, NPCs, and my own inadequacies on this journey.
Please stick around to the end of the video for some info on giveaways I'll be running on this channel and on my Instagram. And with that, let's get into the challenge.
So I decided to start with the easiest boulders and work my way up from there. I didn't think in the span of an hour I was going to get to the point where my exhaustion was the thing that was preventing me from sending a boulder. Just a heads up, I'll be doing a voiceover to add context to some parts of this challenge, but the rest will be filled with music, so hopefully you like the songs I picked. I don't know why it took me so long to finish this one. I don't know if it was just nerves about this being my first fall, but I got there. Yes, I committed the cardinal sin of rock climbing. I got on the wall when somebody was already on there. I don't know if I just didn't notice this guy or if I was in a rush or what, but I decided I would just wait for him. So yeah, that was every V0 in my gym. Luckily I flashed all of them, but it was time to move on to the harder problems, and that flash streak might not last. Just a note, my gym uses a flex grading system, which means that they grade in ranges, not specific labels, so that's why you're seeing a range down here. Notice this nervous little shake here? The panic, the indecision. That's because I've been on this route before, in the exact same position I'm in now. This route finishes with a knee bar, and I'm wearing shorts. The last time I did this, I got a pretty bad cut on my knee, so I was sort of nervous for this one. So here was my first official fall. I'm a little sad I fell only 15 minutes into the challenge, but to be fair, this was 17 boulders in, and this problem was heavily focused on balance. So you might be wondering at this point, 20 boulders in less than 20 minutes. How you feeling? I think this sums it up. So close, but this is my second fall. This finish was really tough, trying to keep your body close to the wall and stay balanced, but this volume completely in your way. So that was the end of all grades of that difficulty in my gym. Honestly, my arms were starting to get pretty exhausted by this point, and the grades were only getting more difficult. So pretty much any one of these green routes, it felt like I could fall off at any time. But honestly, I feel like that made me climb even harder because I knew that I wouldn't have the strength to complete the route again. So I was really determined to stay attached to the wall and give my best effort with each send I made. Here's a perfect example of that kind of route. This one was an overhang, and I probably could have saved some energy by not cutting feet. But to be honest, the weird movements I would have had to do with my feet and the mental effort it would have taken to plan them out seemed like it was going to take up too much time, so I just decided to sort of campus this first part. Here's another one of those routes that just felt really hard at this point, and here's how close I was to falling off it. Seriously, I've never felt more determination to stay on the wall than when presented with the punishment of having to immediately redo the route again on a schedule.
And here we arrive at one of the most cursed routes of this entire challenge. I think it was because this problem was a slab, and after 42 minutes of straight bouldering, my feet were getting very sweaty and starting to slip around in my shoes, but I could not figure out a comfortable way to stand on these holes and move my way up this wall. But I was absolutely determined to get this end. I wanted to finish at least all grades of this difficulty in my gym. So I kept plugging away at it until I was finally comfortable enough to just trust my right foot on this green hold here, because I was pretty sure that was the piece I was missing for this send. In my opinion, the difference between sending slabs and not can often be just trusting a foot that really doesn't feel trustworthy. thought it was the overhangs of the crimp problems that would get me on this challenge, but for some reason it ended up being the slabs. With this problem especially, I felt like I was getting stuck in the same spot, so after a humbling fall here, I decided to give this one more attempt, and if that didn't work, I'd just come back to it. Yeah, playing reverse psychology on this boulder didn't work. We'll come back to this one, I promise. And with that, I had completed every green boulder in my gym, except for this one, which I had skipped. But I knew that all I needed was the confidence that came with a fresh pair of shoes, and a couple more tries. So finally, I had successfully completed every problem of difficulty V1 to V3 in my gym. And even though I had only 3 minutes left in this challenge, I was going to use it to its full potential. So I found a manageable looking boulder of the next highest grade and decided to give it a go. I was so tired by this point that I completely missed it was a split start. So I'm only going to give myself half a send for this one. Less than 2 minutes. At this point I was doing some very exhausted and awkward running through the gym, looking for my next problem that didn't seem too difficult to send. I found one that was close by and looked as good as any, and decided to go for it. With less than a minute left, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, but instead of finding something that looked doable, I decided my flashes to falls ratio was just too good, and just threw up some futile attempts on this slab here. Then when I decided my ego was bruised enough from that, I chose to move on to a fairly technical boulder that was even more difficult than the last one. A great choice for my last run. When the timer finally struck 0, I was pretty exhausted and worn out. This was really challenging, but I was happy for the experience. So after the full hour, the final numbers were 52.5 boulders sent, 48.5 flashes, and 14 falls. So that's a little bit less than 1 boulder per minute, and given that I had to redo 4 of these boulders quite a few times, I'm pretty proud of that. My biggest takeaway from this challenge is that bouldering is a much more mental sport than I previously thought. I learned that the ability to stay on the wall has a lot less to do with strength and a lot more to do with willpower. There were so many times in this challenge where I felt like I pushed myself to the point where in any other situation I would have just fallen off the wall. My body felt exactly exactly like it had at other times when I had dropped on previous boulder attempts. But I chose to stay on the wall because I didn't want to have to do the climb again, which helped me learn about myself that a lot of the times when I do fall on problems is because I'm choosing to not push through the pain to finish them. Don't get me wrong, a lot of it has to do with strength, but a lot more of it has to do with mentality than I thought before. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that though. Please let me know what you think about bouldering being a mental versus physical sport and what that balance is in the comments. So I really doubt there's anyone still watching at this point, but if you've made it this far, I do really just want to say thank you for your support. It really means a lot to a small channel like mine. And if you like videos like this and you'd like to support me in some way, then the next time you're checking out Rungna, which is Magnus Mitbo's climbing company, please consider using code KeithClimbs at checkout and you'll get 10% off your order. To be fully transparent, I get a kickback from that, but what it also does is moves me higher up in their affiliate program, which means that I get more free stuff from that company, which I'd like to pass on to you guys through giveaways. I actually just finished a giveaway for any item in the store up to $150 on my Instagram channel, and I'd like to continue to run giveaways like that. And you guys using that code directly helps me to do that. But even if you guys don't choose to take advantage of that, I do just want to thank you for your support. Anyway, shameless self-promotion done. Happy climbing!